So thank you, team. Thank you everywhere. My name is Patrick Otuo Wanguche, Fisheries Research Scientist, a Socioeconomic Fisheries Research Scientist, working for Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute, as an organization in Kenya that is mandated to do research in both marine and freshwater systems. But now, currently here, I'm in Akureyri University, courtesy of Grow FTP project, where we came to Iceland to learn about fisheries issues. And yes, the fisheries policy management team is here in Akureyri University. So I will be walking you through a work that we do, not very different from what Ocean Mission is doing, but of course out of it we came up with some research. Lake debris in urban-scape, small-scale fisheries. Is there a cost to worry? A case study of Winam Gulf. Winam Gulf is just, Lake Victoria, part of Kenya. So I will talk about the state of marine litter shortly in Kenya. Then I will set the problem which we have talked about, all of us. Then methodology. Then KLDVP, which is the vehicle, or rather the team that we are using to do this wonderful job. Then I'll call all of us to action, and I will just conclude. Okay, thank you. So, according to UNEP, more than 300 million tons of plastic waste are produced globally every year. And this weight is equivalent to the population of the entire world. Nearly 50% of the municipal solid waste in Africa ends up in poorly managed landfills and dump sites. Those are facts that we need to know. And estimates show that the sub-Saharan Africa will produce 3 million metric tons of waste per day by the time 2100. In Africa, waste management is hindered by poor infrastructure, human and financial capacity, and of course, inadequate education training. Now, in Kenya, I can proceed by saying that marine litter pollution is a growing problem, and over 80% of marine litter originates from the land, and that tells us why adequate efforts are supposed to be done upstream. The Lake Victoria Basin, which is the second largest lake in the world, is where we are, and there's no clear research that shows how much plastic are in this lake. This is why we find it very important to continue with the research. Now, according to Okuku et al., that's a senior researcher in my institution, we find that for macro litter, every 1 meter square, you are likely to find 5 items, and 37,000 tons of plastic leakage is registered per year. This is mainly comprising of single-use plastics, 58%, 15% foam, and 11% rubber. For mesolitter, 95% item per meter squared, 55% plastic. You can see the consistency in plastic. Now, I want to delve into the problem, why we are all doing this. And if you are keen with the picture we are having there, I will remind all of us here that we are all good people until the content is finished. So I'm reminding us to be always be very keen whenever you are taking anything, be it beer, be it water. What do you do with that bottle after doing it? So the effect, if you don't manage your container well, the effects are so much. You can see all the waste ends into our waters. A lot of it derelicts lands and insightful beaches. We cannot play, blockage of drainage, entanglement of fish, pollution in the lakes, and of course, it can injure even beachgoers. Now, this work This work was done in the Lake Victoria Basin, and we chose 3 areas: a beach, an informal settlement, and an industrial area. The study looked at abundance, composition, and distribution of litter, and we did a collection of all macro litter, that is all litter greater than 25 millimeters. We collected them, and before I even delve into the results, I want to tell us of who is doing this work. It is a voluntary program called KLDVP, Kenya Lake Debris Volunteer Program. This is a group of people that came together, me being one of them, where it's housed in our organization, and we encourage schools, we encourage environmental partners to come together, and we do cleanup. Then we, for example, if you look on the right, that is my organization. Then on the left is White Oak School, which is a school that has been so keen on working with us. And with them, there is an organization called Osiepesango, which also works with us. The Lake Basin Commission is a regional body which also works with us. And up there is all of us. Any other community member who is willing to work with us is always welcome. Now, before we do our work, we always follow this protocol where we do site selection. Then we look at the equipment that we need. Then we set up the place where we want to collect litter. Then collection is done. But of course, I want to do that in a pictorial form in my next slide. So if you look at that, we do cleanup. After cleanup, we collect the waste together. Then when the waste is collected together, then there is sorting that is done. After sorting, the volunteers do scientific data recording. And after data recording, we do we use the waste to make usable, we call it DIYs, things that instead of waste scattering and into the environment, we use them to make materials that can be used. And therefore, there is also public sensitization that we do during our beach cleanups. Now, I want to delve into the way our research is done. Of course, after collecting the litter, we analyze it using RStudio and Excel. Then the count, the means, and frequencies are calculated. And yeah, also the qualitative data from community opinion leaders are gotten using key informant interviews. Of course, during our beach cleanups, we have people who talk to opinion leaders to get their views on issues plastic pollution. So the results that we have shows clearly that in the environment, plastic is more. Sorry if it's not a bit visible, but as I said, we have 3 areas. We have a beach, we have an informal area, and an industrial area. The result shows clearly that out of 10,000 materials in a beach, 7,000 is from plastics, and 60% overall across the 3 sites is plastic. That is a clear indication that we actually need to do something towards making sure that plastics are reduced in our beaches or in the places we live. Then another very important point from this table is that across the three sites, the beach leads in abundance, followed by an informal settlement and an industrial settlement. So that reminds you that all this waste ends into our beaches, into our waters, and finally into the beaches. Then again, this 1% contribution of litter type of product audited also shows relatively high abundance in the beaches, because we had industrial area, informal settlement, and our Usoma beach, the beach still leads. That tells you that whichever you do with your waste ends up into our beaches, and it interferes with anybody. Now, a continuation on results on a single layer, we also do brand audits, and still it's evident that the beach is still high, followed by informal settlement, then industrial area. Basically, maybe in industrial area, there are better ways of recycling. Informal settlements, they are really lagging behind. And the beach is high, of course, because that is the end point. So we need to arrest this from the source. Now, overall, before I delve, I really want to talk about the citizen science. So I want to sum up this result, that plastic burden, we overall generally looked at the plastic burden that we had and discovered that throughout our work, soft drinks, water bottles are leads, and therefore, guys who are here, those who are listening to me, a change starts with me and you. Please use a usable bottle that you can use again and again. The issue of buying water bottles and throwing them is not a good idea. Now, who has been behind all this? I'm so proud of a group, a voluntary group in Kenya, who are doing beach cleanup. I started this in 2019, 10 years and still strong, doing it for free every day. We walk to offices whenever we want to do our beach cleanup to ask for simple things like, that is a pipeline organization in Kenya. That time they gave us gloves. If you look at Coca-Cola company, we go to them, we ask them whatever they can give us, however little it is. To the right is Kemfree, that is my organization. They always chip in with gloves and all over. And LVBC, that is 2019, we were doing International Coastal Cleanup event where the regional bodies supported us with t-shirts and all over. And you can see there, the last picture, I'm issuing certificates after an international cleanup event. Now, after doing this, I said there is what we call DIYs, do it yourself. We engage youths in schools, and most of us are graduates, so they compete in making beautiful items. And yes, we have volunteers who have done pretty well, and we go to conferences. If you look at that picture there, there is one called Stephanie Smith. Stephanie Smith is an American environmental enthusiast, and she's shown interest in working with us. That particular conference, she was together with us. We made the DIYs and we were showcasing together. So I want to call on all of us to actually be part of what we are doing, because I took this in one of our cleanup in an informal settlement where even kids are really pushing to be part of us. So if even kids are ready and willing to work with us, what of you? As one said earlier, that the people, the big people are supposed to help the kids to actually do this work. But otherwise, I want to be happy that we have involved all sorts of people in doing this. Now, in conclusion, I want to say that the plastic tap is really huge. The rains are heavy. So what do we need to do to stop this plastic tap? Actually, we need to reduce on the use of single-use plastic, production of single-use plastics. Post-consumer waste collection should be enhanced. So after there have been waste is produced, we need to enhance the collection of this. Then enhance plastic circularity in the design, support, and demand. These companies need to know this. They need to know what they're producing and know the impact of these things. Then we need to enhance education, awareness. That is so important. Then national and county level policies and strategies need to be enforced, and private sector commitment. And you and me need to know that we have R's. I think there are now 5. Reuse, reduce, recycle, reduce, and even refuse. You can refuse to use some. For example, it's 8 years now I don't use plastic straws. If everybody decided to do that, then we would not be finding plastic straws in our beaches. So, and also rethink. You should rethink on which world you want to live for the future generation. Then I want to thank the following as I conclude. I want to thank Grow FTP for this opportunity. I want to thank the Akureyri University, that is my host. I want to thank Kenya and my organization, Kemfree, and most importantly, the volunteers. If you are keen in that picture, that is 2016. There is a circle there. I was a small boy doing cleanup with my volunteers. And now, this is now 2023, still going strong. Thank you so much for listening.